Hey YouTube, I'm not really sure where this is going to fit in. It's probably going to be edited right in on the other video, so it's probably been like 2 seconds since you saw me last, but for me it's been a few weeks actually. Just got tied up on working on my farm and working on my buddy's farm and putting in a playground for the neighborhood and a bunch of other stuff that I'm doing. So I just got tied up into that, and then I'm just now getting back at this. So basically where we left off, which will probably be 2 seconds for you, but was a long time for me. I had put this transom back in. Fiberglass is back on top. However, I do have this seam that I got to attend to. So the goal today will be to grind this seam down so that I can lay some fiberglass in there. Before I do that, of course, I'll grind it down and then I'll put some resin with silica in it a little thick and just kind of fill that crack. And then I'll go put fiberglass on top of that until it's back even. And then of course we'll gel coat the whole back in. Welcome to my life. So it's coming along nicely. Appreciate all the comments and support on YouTube for sure, and for all the tips that people have been giving me. I know that this could be a big loss, and I know that maybe the guy should have paid me to take the boat. I don't know. Many of the comments that's come up a couple times is why I didn't use Kusa board, and it just simply comes down to cost. I mean, actually, you didn't ask me why I didn't use it. You suggested I use it, but I wanted to. But the cost is just overwhelmingly way more than the marine plywood. So I could probably do this 3 or 4 times. I wouldn't want to, but could do it 3 or 4 more times for the cost of that. Originally it had plywood in there. That lasted all this time. I think that's a pretty good deal. So I'm going to stick with it. I get Kusa board to last forever, whatever. We'll see. Anyway, so that's kind of where I'm at, and I'm going to get busy and start grinding. Thanks for joining me. All you safety people should be happy I'm wearing all this junk. All right, so that was crazy, all nasty. I got it ground down all the way around. So I need to come back. I'm gonna let it dry, of course, but I'll use a mass tone and get her cleaned up, and then fill in the cracks here around here that are there, and then start laying fiberglass. Should be fun. All right, I'm going to go take a shower. That was nasty. Hey, good morning YouTube. Hey, I know this is gonna be in the middle of the video because I'm working on the transom and the rain is lit off and moisture's kind of died down enough for me to start working on it again. So my YouTube is really blown up here, and I appreciate that. I appreciate all of y'all that are watching. We were hit 500 and I thought that was amazing, and within a week we had shot up over 1,000 subscribers. You'll notice you have commercials now because I monetized since then. And it's funny, I just talked to one of you. Somebody threw a comment on there that I'm just looking for the watchers, the lookers, so I can make money. Of course, I said I didn't make money. Now I do. It ain't gonna be much money. I mean, if you look at the way that YouTube works with the impressions and the click-through rates and stuff, I'm trying to understand all that stuff. But honestly, I'm not gonna become a millionaire, so don't think I'm doing this for the money. So anyway, I thought I'd address, well, first, thank you for all the people watching. And I mean, if I haven't said that, I think I just did, but whatever. Thank you. And I do mean that. I appreciate it. I like that people are watching and that they're interested in what I'm doing. That being said, there are a lot of comments. Sorry, I had to touch the screen so I could see myself for no reason. There's a lot of comments. I was surprised at the comments. They're all over the map. You know that saying, you can't make everybody happy. I'm not going to be able to make everybody happy. I'm just not. This channel is really just me. I'm retired. This is what I do. But going around and helping people and fixing my own stuff, that's what my life is. And the whole premise behind the Shots Life video series was just showing you what's going on in my life. I've explained it in one of my comments there to somebody that was asking, but I'm really started making these because I was in the military, just retired after 30 years, and I worked at the Pentagon and had about 10,500 people in my career field under me. and got to know and love a lot of those people. And after I retired, people, even before I retired, people were going to ask me what I was going to do when I retired. And after I retired, people kept asking me what I'm doing. And to respond to all, to all these people that are, and I love them all. So don't think that I, am saying that I can't respond to each individual. I try to. But I thought it'd be easier if I just started making videos showing what I was doing, and then they'd get a window in my life, and they're up on me. And then of course, then the hard part's me keeping up with them, right? But so that's kind of where the video series grew from. I joked about making YouTube videos way back when I was still in the military. So again, this wasn't about becoming a millionaire, which I'll never do, or making a lot of money, because it doesn't pay that much. And I'll probably discuss that at some point on my channel, because I don't even know it. It's so new. I haven't even seen. It takes it's a day behind, and it takes time, and YouTube does whatever their math is to come up with the mystery amount of money. But you're talking maybe $100 a month, if that. And that's if 1 million people watch or something. I don't even know. I don't want to lie to you. I don't know. But a lot of comments. So the music. Sorry about the music. I like the music. I put the music that I go through, and I dig out songs from the other trashy songs that don't sound so electronic or whatever. It costs me $200 a year to license that music. If I just do particular songs, it's way more expensive. If I was trying to go out and get Van Halen, there's no way I could afford to do that. So please understand, on my retired Air Force budget, the music you get is the music you get. Sure, I could have Dead Space in there. I watch Andrew Kartama, and I don't like when he does Dead Space. So, everybody has opinions on that stuff. I can't satisfy you all. There's going to be music. It's probably going to be too loud at times. Editing, knowing where that sounds on my computer versus the iPad versus your phone versus whatever, it's all different. So it is what it is. Starting, where to start? A lot of people want me to fire the engines up and do that first, and then other people said no, do the transom first and whatever. I started with the transom. I thought it was funny. People said, well, the first thing you do is clean it. Well, yeah, because I don't like to work in a dirty environment. I really don't. So yeah, I knocked the dirt off, and it didn't cost me anything but a couple cans of fuel, or a can of fuel, a couple tanks of fuel, and she's cleaned up. And then now I'm not working in a bunch of biohazard or whatever that stuff was, and then I'm not getting that nasty stuff on, because it's hot out and I sweat, and then I'm getting that stuff stuck on me. I just didn't want to do that. So yeah, I started. Sorry for the guy that wanted me to do it in a methodical order. I was up on a ladder. I started shooting the top. Then I realized I can't reach the other side, and I'd have to move that big ladder around the other side of the boat. So I was like, well, let me clean the front off since I'm up here. And then when I got around the other side, I was like, oh, I just got the boat. But I realized, oh, I could climb up this side and just stand on top of there. So I climbed up and finished the top off. And I know that wasn't a methodical order. I thought I did pretty much do it in a methodical order other than that. And it was only because I couldn't figure out how to get on top of the boat or move the ladder to the other side, which I didn't want to do. So yeah, funny. And the reason I didn't want to move the ladder, so you don't think I was lazy, is I had a camera on top of my roof shooting down, doing a time lapse, and I didn't want the ladder to be in the way of me cleaning the boat. So that's kind of funny. Anyway, he said, I told the guy, I said, I'm sorry. He's like, no apology needed, whatever. I just can't satisfy everybody. Kusa board was a huge one. Everybody wants me to use Kusa board, and I wanted to use it. I watched Born Again Boating. That guy, tremendous. Danger Marina, thank you, because I watch you on building the working on the motors and stuff. I've learned a lot off those two guys. That boat guy, he's just fun to watch turn boats. I don't know how he finds, this is a once in a lifetime deal, and I know it, but that guy finds deals every month. He's doing a different boat for $1,000 or whatever he gets them for. He gets them cheap, but he's got good connections. But I enjoy all those people. I learned a lot from all those people. By no means at any time am I saying this is how you should do your boat. I'm not an expert. I believe in education by work, vocational type education, and this is exactly what that is for me. This is an education for me. I'm learning a lot. Am I going to make mistakes? Probably so. And also, I know when I'm watching videos, I'm like, why don't they just do this? Kusa is not in my budget. That's the other thing. People want me to set a budget. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to determine what I think is the best way to go forward on each step of the way, and if I never get done, so what? It's like a couple of people have said, it's a labor of love, and that's exactly what it is. Sorry if I'm kind of ranting here, but just trying to answer some of the questions. So far I've been able to keep up with all the comments. I don't think that's going to be able to continue because it's a lot of work. So that's kind of where I'm at. Yeah, I know the motors could be junk. I know the boat could be junk. One guy said I should just fill it up with water and sink it to the bottom of the lake. Yep, I got it. I think it's neat. You know, when I first started seeing up there abandoned, I was cleaning the boat storage area for my neighborhood, and that boat just kept sitting there. And the more I looked at it, the more I liked it. And yes, I know it's an offshore boat, and I know I can go way offshore with it. And I live on a little lake. I live on a lake called Harrington Lake in Kentucky, and I know it's too big of a boat for this lake. So what? It's going to be cool. There's bigger boats on this lake. There's houseboats on this lake, you know, further up the lake. I'm at the bottom of the lake, but there's big boats on this lake. So it's just going to be another big boat, and it's going to be cool, right? People are hopefully, you know, I post on Harrington Lake boaters and stuff like that. So hopefully the people will see it going by and be like, oh, that's the boat I watch on YouTube. But yeah, so that's kind of where I'm at. I just wanted to cover a couple things with you. Yeah, I know there's more expensive things. The other thing that I wanted to talk about was the deck. A lot of people think that because I walked on that one center cap there, that the stringers are rotted. And from what I can see through the portal, the little 8-inch portals down there, I don't think the stringers are rotted. I don't think there's any water that got into the actual bottom of the boat. You know, it's an ocean boat, it's not a lake boat. So water's meant to come over the sides and then drain out the drain off the deck. And I think it's been doing that. I mean, it did clog up, and I think that it held water over time. And of course, water evaporated and all that. But I don't think it actually went down in the deck. It did in the very back. So you see when I take that door off and it falls off, you know, all that was rotted. So the water would fill up and then go over the back. But that's a separate compartment. It's its own compartment. So it flows down there, flows out to the drain hole, and flows out. The upper part, I don't believe held any water at all. I don't. And the boat was at quite an angle. The nose was pretty far up, so it was always draining to the back. So I think I'm going to be okay on the strings. I think that is just condensation from the tank or something that rotted that over time. That board that's underneath that big cover that goes over the fuel tank is rotted, and I bought a piece of marine plywood to fix that, but I suspect that's what it is. We'll see when I open it up. The only reason I haven't opened it up now is because the boat's sitting outside in the rain, and I want to keep that compartment dry until I'm ready to work on it. I already have this stuff. Money, people think it's going to cost me thousands and thousands of dollars. I think some people have said $10,000 to $20,000. Maybe so if I end up having to buy new motors. I get that. Probably more than that actually if I have to buy new motors. But so far I spent $1,000 on chemicals, on the resins and the different resins and the silica and the fiberglass and all that. And I got more than enough fiberglass to do tons of stuff on the boat. Matter of fact, I'll have tons because I didn't know what to buy. I kind of estimated off of Born Again Boaters comments. But I have more than enough. I have more than enough chemicals. Total Bolt was good to me when I got one of my cans had leaked about an eighth of a gallon of resin, and they sent me a whole other gallon of resin on top of that. So I have like way more than enough gallons of resin to fix anything. I've already done the main part of the transom. You didn't know that until this video, but I've already had put that in, and I still have a ton of resin left, a ton of fiberglass left, a ton of silica left. I still have some stuff to finish, and I want to do the door underneath or the compartment door underneath the floor. So I'm sure I'll use it over time. But so I got about $1,000 in chemicals in the boat so far. I bought some Newport deck ports for the because I want to replace them all. They're getting dry rotted. So I bought 8 of those. So I have money in that, a couple $100 in that. And then I bought the spark plugs and some new fittings for the back of the boat, and of course new tubing for the drains. So there's another $500 probably. Well, that's including the I'm probably not even that far in, to be honest with you. I'll map it out for you in the end. But as far as budgeting goes, you know, $20,000. I think maybe if I was doing Kusa and you know, just replacing the motors and all that stuff, yeah, maybe I'd hit that range. But I don't think I'm going to be anywhere near there. We'll see. I mean, you may be right. At the end of the day, if I spend that on it, I spend that on it. It's not a big deal. I don't want to, but if that's what the project takes, then we'll cross those bridges, or we won't when we get there, right? But you'll know because you'll be watching, right? Hopefully. Somebody suggested I do the impellers on the motors. I definitely will do that for sure. Yeah, I mean that's like a no-brainer to me. The screens on the bottom too, where I showed you the bees were dying. They're missing screens out there too, so I'll need to find those screens and put them in as well. Fuel lines and all that, I expected to replace all those. Oh, one last thing, porn guy, quit putting your porn stuff on in my comments. I'm just going to delete them. Nobody wants to see that. Well, there's probably a lot of guys that want to see it, but I don't want it on my videos and my comments. So just stop, please. All right, now I'm gonna go back to work. So I'm gonna get back on this project here, and I need to fill in this gap basically all wrong. And so I'm gonna use some resin and some silica, thicken it up, and then shove that in that crack. And then I'll cut strips of fiberglass to go all the way around. I'll put a couple layers of that in there, some finished resin, and go from there. And then eventually I want to come back and deal with this. The way Grady did these is basically they covered this with resin, but then they put this aluminum strip across here, which is fine, but I'd like to seal this off so no water can get in here. It is all covered in resin, but man, I'd like to seal it off so that it can't get in there at all. I'll put the trim back on it probably, but I'd like it to be all sealed. So I don't know, we'll see how that turns out. I'll come back, and I still have to grind these down and fix these cracks. There's 1, 2, 3, 4 of them, this one being the worst. They'll still need to come back. I need to grind those down, and I'll add fiberglass to that as well. But I just figured today a good project would be to fill in the seam. So that's done. So that's what I'm going to work on, little by little. Also, somebody was asking if I use marine products. Yes, I'm using marine products. So I also have a couple different kinds of resin, but whatever. You can see it's Total Boat is what I'm using. I'm not recommending them. I don't know the difference. I think that's what I saw Blowing Boaters using in this video or something. I don't know where I got it from, honestly. One of the guys was using it, so that's where I went to. It was available, easy to get. I got it. It's going on. So I started to cut the fiberglass for this, and I was looking at it, and I really need to grind a lot more. So I stopped, put everything away so it didn't get rained on, if it does rain. And I'm gonna do some more grinding on this. I think it needs to be a little bit wider, all the way around, and in a couple places deeper. So I'm in the spirit of doing things right. Let me spend some time grinding. Lovely. So it was a good day today. I got rained on, big thunderstorm, but got a lot more than I thought I was gonna get done. I made some silica and fiberglass and resin to fill in these two holes that were on the top of this fiberglass where it cracked. And I went to fill that in. I made so much that I ended up coming around and doing the whole seam around. Of course, I'm gonna do fiberglass on top of this, but the seams are made this way. Ooh, been doing some sanding there, I guess. But the seams are made this way. And then I wanted to fill in the crack all the way around, which fiberglass will go on top of that too. And I wanted to make a thick resin to shove in that crack before I put the fiberglass around the top. So that's the next step to get done. And I may start working on that now, actually. I was going to clean up, but why not do it now? All right, I'm calling it a day. I got a couple layers of fiberglass all the way around. A layer of fiberglass in here, covering up this crack that Grady White leaves in there. And so we'll let it dry, come back, I'll check to see how smooth it is. If I need to add another row, or if I have room to add another row of fiberglass, I will. And then we'll go from there. So body, then it'll be filler, and then it'll be gel coat. Of course, I'll have to sand the whole thing down, yada yada. But she's looking pretty good. I'm happy with the results. So yeah, moving on. Ooh. y'all help me out and like and subscribe to my channel, Shots Life, on YouTube.